It was only a matter of time until I was forced to play a horror game. The question is, how badly will it scar me, and will it be because of what I endure in the game, or because of the game I endure? My name is Graeldon, and I'm reviewing Steam games in alphabetical order to find the hidden gems among the piles of garbage, and today's game is 027. Let's begin. 027 is a special case. Partly because I finished the game and have no clue what 027 refers to, and partly because it popped into existence right at the end of 2023, lining itself up to be one of the first games of the year. It also means that basically nobody has played or reviewed this game yet. There's a chance that the devs knew about my channel and purposefully released their game in time to be reviewed, because people have been joking about that in the comments sections, but it's backed up by how underbaked this game was at the time of release. Developed and published by Lebby, this is their first Steam release, and possibly their first game ever, because if we take a look at their YouTube page, you'll see a handful of 027 related videos, including a trailer, and then assorted Roblox videos. So with that context, I'll be keeping in mind the fact that this dev is probably quite young, but if you're watching this, don't expect me to go easy on you. At the end of the day, you're charging $25.99 Canadian for this game. Always keep in mind what the average gamer could also buy in a similar genre for roughly the same price. As examples, Dead by Daylight is $21.99, Phasmophobia is $25.49, The Forest is $22.79, and of course Undertale, which apparently appears when you apply the horror filter, is $10.99.
Huh?
Weird flex, Undertale, but okay. Always keep in mind that with your price point come expectations for length, depth, and quality. So, with that at the forefront of our minds, let's dive into 027 to see how it holds up. The game begins with a nice pan to a logo reveal, and then jump cuts to a static image background with the menu overlaid on top. And that's the first missed opportunity. You could have paused for the logo and then panned further to something relevant to the game and faded in the main menu. Still, that's a minor detail, and to give credit where it's due, although the main menu is a bit barren, it does have a decently functional settings menu with FOV, mouse sensitivity, and render distance sliders, plus a few graphical options. No resolution settings, and the mouse sensitivity is rightfully set down quite low, as it should be. This is my first time seeing a disable unnecessary option though. Not sure what it changes, but let's hope we don't need to see it, whether it's on or not. As the game loads, we're shown the basic controls during the loading screen. Standard WASD movement, left click to interact, and then M for menu and R for restart. Considering that this is a horror game, the need for a dedicated restart button confuses me. Also, why M for menu? What is wrong with using the escape button that years upon years of gaming is ingrained into us? And why does it not open an actual menu but instead return you to the title screen? I'm sure this all makes sense through some twisted logic, but what's wrong with having a standard pause menu opened by pressing escape and an option to restart from the last checkpoint? Anyway, the game begins with a text dump of exposition to set the scene, which you can pause right now to read if you wish. The TLDR version is that we play as Emma, who has returned to their hometown to search for their childhood friend Chris, who went missing when they were 12. All in all, not a bad premise, but I don't think the phrase leaking with clues is quite what you were looking for. Brimming with clues. Might want to update that. From here, we press space, a button that was noticeably absent from the controls tutorial, and load into the actual game. The bulk of the game takes place in the area surrounding a small hospital, and the initial impressions are that everything is nicely designed and laid out. There are some frame rate issues at the higher graphical settings, but this is pretty common for games created in Unity, so I'm okay with looking past it. The lighting is a bit off though, with the sun being super bright in the sky, but the ambient lighting being surprisingly dark. The textures and object designs are overall simplistic, resulting in everything having a lack of depth, feeling quite flat and plasticky. It's not bad though, and it gets the job done, and the lighting is actually used extremely well in later areas, although they do have a problem with indoor windows. As a first-person horror puzzle game, you'll spend the majority of your time wandering around, exploring areas guided by the prompt in the top right of the screen. They are purposefully vague as they want you to dig around yourself, but they give enough guidance to figure out what's going on. Now, fair warning, there are spoilers ahead, as it's hard to discuss or show anything without spoiling the game. Over the course of the game, you'll explore 3 abandoned locations: the hospital, Chris's family home, and the nearby mall. Each of these locations will have a puzzle of some sort to solve, with varying levels of difficulty. The design of each of the locations are filled with missed opportunities. Let's start with the hospital. To finish this section, you need to find the solution to a keypad, grab a keycard, unlock a door, grab a master key, and then just explore until you find the one room that triggers the next step. There's nothing in that room, and the entire point seems to be that you simply don't find anything here, which also means there isn't any danger. You just wander from room to room until something happens. They could have included a lot of extra creepiness from the sound design alone, hearing footsteps, the flickering of lights, the beeping of hospital equipment that stops as soon as you enter the room. In reality, the most dangerous thing here is the computer terminal that soft-locked me because I couldn't exit it. Even the sacred M button failed me. Thankfully, the dev released a patch which solved this issue, so don't worry if you decide to give it a go yourself. From here, we head to Chris's house, and this is possibly one of the best areas of the game. As you explore, you'll uncover notes that give some extra lore about what happened to Chris, but spoilers, the story never really amounts to anything much. The cool part is that midway through exploring, the house begins to change around you, leading you through a nightmarish maze of hallways as a monster stalks you. Make sure to stand still when it's nearby, and it'll probably pass by you. Probably. Also, the monster appears to be the fox-like toy plushie we saw earlier with spider legs attached. Not sure what the lore reasons are behind this, but it's decently creepy and the jump scare got me a couple of times. FYI, they actually changed it slightly between my first attempt and the final attempt. Ty, could you please do a back-to-back comparison for everyone? Thanks. The movement of the monster is pretty janky though, as can be seen in the confined room of the basement puzzle. Seeing a monster spin and move like this makes it a lot less terrifying, at least for me. From here, we reach what was the weirdest part of the game. I say was because the devs have patched and changed it, and the final result is much better than the original. The first time I played, the only instruction you got was hide. Nothing more, nothing less. And if you do it wrong, you just die. Nothing kills you, you just die. The solution I found was to return to the hospital and stand still for almost 10 minutes until the sun came up. Not exactly engaging gameplay. However, after the patch, the instructions are much more clear. Survive the night. Not only that, but there is now a generator that is keeping the lights on and fuel cans scattered around that you need to grab in order to keep it running. If the lights go out for too long, you die. This time though, you'll spot a ghostly figure charging towards you, unless you're like me and had looked away out of boredom. Where does this ghost fit into the story? Nobody knows. Night survived, it's time to head into the mall. Why is there a mall near the hospital? What clues do we find that led us here? No idea. So, let's go in, because while the house was the best designed area, the mall has the best designed puzzle. In the upstairs area, there's a door that requires a code. Scattered around are numbers in shapes, and this confused me for a bit because I thought that was all there was to the puzzle, like maybe it was to do with the number of sides or the number of points. As it turns out, inside the clothing store, there are more shapes, colours and numbers. By matching everything together, you'll get a new 4-digit code that unlocks the door. Oh, and some of the mannequins are like the stone angels from Doctor Who and will chase after you the moment you're not looking at them. So, keep that in mind. But in all honesty, I love this puzzle for one major reason. It changes every time you play. So you can't cheat your way through this puzzle by memorizing the code. Nice touch, Dev, I appreciate that. What I appreciate less is the comical popping in of the mannequins in the main areas after leaving the clothing section for the first time. It ruins the immersion just a teensy bit. Anyway, with the door opened, you grab a keycard and open another door to move into the next area, and immediately fall through the floor. I don't think that's meant to happen. Reloading didn't fix it. Changing the settings didn't fix it either. Heck, I tried to replay the entire game up to that point just in case it was random chance. But no, it happened again. My progress was halted at this point, and I actually reached out to the dev via Steam and their YouTube channel. And again, to their credit, they released a patch that fixed the issue within a couple of days. Sadly, this is where things go really downhill. This next area makes no narrative sense. The main area is just a thrown together mess of assets from earlier areas in the game, and the fox plushie monster is back. At one end, there's a security room that seems to have taken heavy, and I mean heavy, inspiration from Five Nights at Freddy's, complete with the security doors on either side and interactive monitors that let you see other rooms. Kudos to the devs for setting this up, but unless I'm a complete idiot, there isn't anything to find in the main area. Instead, there's an area behind the security room that you need to run through to escape and simply hope you don't get killed by the shadow monster lurking there. Make a dash through a couple of obstacle-filled hallways and then hit the lockdown button. Dash through a door and then through another maze of hallways and doors trying to find the correct exit while a siren blares loudly the entire time. Or at least that's how it should go. On my first attempt, none of the doors would open, and then everything just went dark and I didn't die. Upon resetting, I couldn't even get back into that room as the very first door into the maze refused to open. Once again, the dev came to my rescue, and after one final attempt, I made it through the exit door and finished the game. Somehow, the most frustrating part of the entire experience was being blocked by a bug at what was literally the final hurdle of the game. Firstly, it has to be said that the dev has done a great job of fixing and improving the game, and I appreciate that they were able to quickly resolve some of the bugs that I was faced with. However, I think they need to spend some more time in other successful horror games to analyse what tricks they use to create moments of suspense or unease, because a lot of it comes from the subtle details of the lighting, level design and sound design. Once again, I'm not a game designer, but if I were, I'd go and play the likes of Amnesia, Outlast or similar horror titles, and pay attention to all of the little details. I mentioned earlier some flaws with the hospital area, and I think this applies to others as well, but I think it all comes back to the question of why should the player be scared right now? And it's okay for that answer to be they shouldn't be. Having some safe areas just raises the tension even further when the player is outside of them, and it gives you the ability to do a rug pull with a safe area that isn't actually safe. All of that is to say that while there are some great ideas here, they don't feel fully fleshed out, and some of them simply don't stick the landing. If I'm being totally honest, the puzzle designs, especially the one in the mall, are some of the strongest parts of the game. I'd actually love to see the dev attempt to design an escape room style game, because I think they have a good feel for using 3D spaces for puzzles and environmental clues. I was on the fence for a while about recommending this game or not, but the nail in the coffin for me was the price. $25.99 Canadian is a lot to ask for a game that can be beaten in 1 to 2 hours when played normally, or 25 minutes when done efficiently. $10 feels more appropriate, or $15 if they add in a few more scenarios. Maybe the cafe that's in the game will finally have a purpose. Until then, I can't recommend this game, but maybe pick it up if you see it on sale and want to support a new dev. So, with everything in mind, my final rating for 027 is a generator out of 10. Like the one in the game, it runs out of power just a bit too quickly. Also, I was serious, I have no clue what the name 027 refers to. Someone please tell me. Welcome to the end of the video. A massive thank you to all the channel members on screen for supporting the channel, especially our 2 Knights of the Holy Grail, Freaky Feline and Loveheart Gonzi. These wonderful people are keeping this channel alive, and becoming a member costs as little as $1 per month. Just click the join button to see the available membership levels and perks. Thank you for joining me on this weird gaming adventure through the depths of Steam, and I'll see you next time in, oh yay, another horror game. Until then, take care.